This was Masters of the fucking Blunderverse.
What?
This was Thor: Love and Thunder times 10.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And anybody who says this isn't woke, they're lying to you. This is the wokest shit I've seen in years. Years! Everything from insert the fucking Planeteers here to fucking, toxic masculinity on this end. It's all here, kids. Every fucking color of the rainbow. My God, what have we done? Fuck you, Mattel. Fuck you, Amazon. Fuck Masters of the Universe. After Revelations, after this, we are done. Divorced. I am so glad I spent no more than $20 together on those fucking toys. You want to know why? This movie's not getting another goddamn dime of my money, nor is Mattel, for the rest of my fucking life. Done.
You know,
can I just say I'm disappointed in Tom for not saying that's the last $15,000 you're getting from me.
That's my favorite part.
Nerderotic.com.
Some people have liked this. Some people have not liked this. Name Tom.
other people. I love, dude.
Wait,
I love that.
People. It
Rand.
looks like out of the people who are reviewing He-Man, the only person that really is upset is Tom. And look, fair play. I understand why, but most people seem to be liking this film.
Hold on. I just because you like it, I don't know if I can actually say that. I think a lot of people think it's kind of a dumb, fun, goofy movie that has a lot of fucking problems. Yeah. What I felt when I was watching it was it's kind of a dumb, goofy movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, has some cool action parts. I think a lot of jokes that don't necessarily land, but it doesn't bother me. However, what I found myself thinking while watching this with a lot of the jokes they were making, including about whether it's the characters' names or like the way that they look, like what I found myself thinking is if I was a massive He-Man fan, and I'm not, I don't give a fuck about it. If I was a huge He-Man fan, I might be a little fucking irritated that it didn't take itself seriously at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And now that might be better for like the casual normie audience to like walk in there,
which is what they're looking for.
But if I actually cared about that thing, I'd probably walk out of there a little bit fucking annoyed.
The reason why I disagree there is I am a massive He-Man fan. He-Man is like one of my primary childhood heroes. And the reason why I love this film is that I feel it understood the core and message and theme of He-Man and carried that through so well throughout the film, especially the conclusion that I loved it. And it's not to say that I loved everything. There are things that I wanted as a He-Man fan in this film that I didn't like, but because it got the main thing so well, I loved this film. And then there were other things that I really enjoyed about it as well on top of that. And in terms of taking ourselves seriously, I think there, like, especially towards the end, there are parts that it does take very seriously, especially the message about masculinity and the correct use of power. And so
I do like that.
There's moments, and then other moments that they almost take seriously get MCU'd, and then there's a joke at the end. That kind of
no, I think
I like the movie. I like the movie.
I want to discuss real quick the video I posted.
You mean the video in which you gave absolutely no opinion on anything that Tom said, and you just said, "Wow, Tom seems
I would
really
like
mad."
to give a little context to this. So I was watching Midnight's Edge review, and I saw Tom go off, and I was laughing my ass off. I woke my wife up. I was laughing so hard. Funny. I almost fell out of my fucking chair. So I'm like, "This is great." Now I Dan Vasked him a little bit. And I probably should have said might bring you a little heat. So yeah, I post this video and I just said I don't think Tom likes He-Man, and Tom, does his thing. He gets mad. I actually love Nerd Rage. I love the passion of it. I listen. I
bit of a fan of it myself, don't you know?
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. And Tom knows He-Man. Like, you can't question the fact that he knows He-Man. He's a huge fan. I am not. So I was too old, and I'm gonna be real. Even back then, I thought He-Man was a little gay. or a lot gay.
Well, in this, it's Skeletor.
He was.
Skeletor.
In San Francisco, they refer to him as a gay icon. Okay, so like,
Skeletor?
So is it, to be fair.
He's the embodiment of evil. Makes
Everything on planet Earth is a gay icon, in all fairness. So.
but you know, Tom has his feelings on it, and he has every right to him. But like, yeah, I provided like I just that what I said is what I meant. There was nothing other than just I don't think Tom liked it.
I love Tom. That was the funniest rant in the best way. His mannerisms when he was doing it. It's so funny. It's so good.
I think the movie is incredibly woke. Any other movie would be called woke as all hell. We had HR stuff. The pronouns were this. The message at the end was that he wasn't masculine enough and he actually embraced his feelings. The creators even told you that this was a deconstruction of masculinity, and it had the creators told you this. That it was a deconstruction of masculinity and it had different sides. So you had Duncan on one side, which was traditional masculinity, and he was the new modern man that was more effeminate and feminine, and that's why he was the better one to go into the future. All of this is in the movie. He even does a HR meeting at one point. This is like HR and a load of feminists made an action movie.
So I agree with a lot of what you said in the latter half. Like you certainly can and they talked about it, right? They talked about it not just being about brute strength and about him having empathy and like things like that. I'm with you there. However, mentioning that there was an HR meeting without showing the context in which he thinks his life is a living fucking hell because he's in the middle of this politically correct fucking corporate world. That is the context within the entire HR scenario is with him with his pronouns, him having to deal with that shit.
That's not the one I meant. I meant the one at the end where when they're doing like the war meeting, because the lesson is, he's in a living hell at the start, but as he goes through the movie, he actually learns that is the way he's supposed to be. And so he does like the war meeting as a HR meeting altogether.
No, because he tries to use it. Hold on.
Yes.
It's fine. The word empathy is getting co-opted by these fucking horrible people. Empathy is fine. It's okay to be a kind person. It's okay to reach out to an evil person and be like, you could come back from the bad. That's what Luke Skywalker was, right?
Do you think he was right to go to Skeletor at the end and talk to him?
Friend, he tries to bring him back, but then he
bouncing around.
He set up for a joke.
So
let's go to the beginning because we just jumped right to the end. Again, my context with He-Man is I don't care about this franchise. I've never cared about it. But I wanted the He-Man fans to have a fun, good movie. And we're not talking about high art here. We're talking about a cartoon that was made to sell toys. And dude, it captured an entire generation. There are some passionate He-Man fans. We just saw one out there. And it opens up and I have my problems with this movie. I'm like right in the middle. I'm kind of like,
but Scary Movie has outdrawn it by double.
Nearly, yeah.
And I didn't like that at all. So yeah, but and it looks like it's gonna bomb. It does, and I have my theories on that we'll get to later. But I guess one of my biggest issues is, and again, I didn't watch the cartoon at all, but I know he's supposed to be Adam and He-Man, right? And those are a distinct difference. And Jeremy told me that as Adam, he kind of plays stupid in the cartoon, but he's actually really smart as He-Man. And he's just Adam this entire movie. And he is kind of a dumb shit this entire movie. Now, sometimes it's funny. Now, I did laugh at a lot of stuff and even the fisting jokes because I'm 12, I guess. I laughed at them. But
give him head.
It starts out with, we open up with they're on Eternia and Adam's a kid and he's kind of a runt. And, he's with the race swapped Man of Arms. And ultimately, Skeletor takes over Eternia and he gets sent to Earth and he's supposed to follow the Sword of Power. He loses the Sword of Power for a while and he's stuck there for 15 years. And he grows up and he works in an HR department for, I don't even know what it was for.
Corporation.
Corporation.
Corporation,
right?
Yeah.
And they definitely portrayed the HR department as evil, right? And I thought that was good. I thought that was funny. They didn't spend as much time on Earth as I thought they were going to. Go on, Fake Wizard. You want to say something?
But so that was my question was, but did they? Because they hint that HR is bad, and then all throughout the film, he's trying to be the HR manager, and it's clearly not working. But it doesn't have the courage to say, "Yeah, all this HR stuff is bad." So like, every time there's some kind of sincerity with this movie, it is immediately cut off at the knees, and that is all 6 of the writers that worked on this at play here. So you have some incredibly great moments that all He-Man fans would like, and that anybody could like. Like there's a scene with Man at Arms where they have that discussion. I would say at the end, part of that, the stand down with Skeletor of like, this is your last chance. Like that was cool. That was awesome. He gave him 2 chances to stand down and then was still pulling his punches and then kicked the shit out of him. And that was awesome. Like that is the He-Man that we wanted to see. But then we follow that up by emasculating the absolute shit out of him by mocking the name He-Man. And I'm sorry, credits rolled? Fuck that.
Yeah,
Fuck that. That's how it ends. It ends by saying He-Man is stupid. Fuck that. What is this, Marvel 2013? Like, what are we doing?
That's kind of what I meant by if I was a big fan of the franchise, I would be upset about how they didn't treat it seriously and all. What I mean by that is not with an abundance of jokes or stuff like that, but it felt like virtually all the different characters, including all like the different ones with the wild helmets and the fists and all that stuff, they were just kind of mocking the entire idea of them in a way. Throughout times they were mentioned, including 5
times over.
Yeah,
it was once it was okay. Then the second time it's like, oh, okay, it's fine. And now then we're doing the Fisto joke again. And then in the last thing before he rides off to save whoever's in danger is we do the He-Man is stupid gag. Again. Yeah. And that's how you end the movie, and then it's a setup for She-Ra? Fuck this.
Well, I don't think it's as malicious as you're saying, but having said that, I wish they did handle the name better. I wanted He-Man to be an epic, legendary title of the champion, but I don't think it is as malicious. Even though I was let down by it, I think it was just they were trying to be funny, and it didn't land.
I think what could have worked, right? You could have had the best of both worlds, because the way I look at it, I do think a lot of the He-Man shit is stupid. I've never liked it, but
that's okay.
I'm trying to think of from the perspective of like people who have loved this IP for decades, and what you could have done is have him He-Man like kind of make fun of him, and as he like runs off, be like, it's actually kind of badass. Yeah, don't tell him we said that. Like, you know what I mean? Something like that. And I think it would not played off so well. You know,
well, he wasn't allowed to have any moments like that. Every time there was a chance for him to be He-Man or to be like a leader or to be powerful or to be cool or to be like, oh man, that's awesome. They undercut it with bogus jokes. And sometimes the jokes land. Like Skeletor saying, ow, you boob. Like that's He-Man comedy. But like, getting rejected by Tila and there's a whole bunch of other things with He-Man being a blubbering idiot.
They were clearly into each other. They were clearly into each other. Yeah. That wasn't the time for them to get together. She sort of pulled away, but she's clearly fucking into him, and that's something. Maybe they just didn't want to shoot their wad on the first movie for that. But He-Man has a big issue because, especially with the 80s cartoon, Adam and He-Man are fucking identical. You know, Adam's got slightly one fucking fraction yellower hair than He-Man, and that's the only difference. He's fucking huge. He's ripped to fuck. Speaks all that kind of stuff, really. And then in this film, it's going to have Adam and He-Man. So what do you do with that? Now we have Adam, and Adam's a goof at the start. Fine, I ain't got a problem with that at all. Because in the cartoon, he tries to play himself off as a goof. Then when he gets the sword of power to start with and transforms into He-Man, he's never had this power. He doesn't know what to do with it. It's like I've been granted this power, but how do I'm still Adam. So he's still got the mentality of Adam, right? So, he'll do a quick good movement. He'll be like, great. And then he'll get undercut. Absolutely gets undercut. But I think the reason why they undercut him, because as he progresses as He-Man, he gets a little bit better and a little bit better. And then at the end, you had everybody stopping fighting and looking at him. They were all looking at him in awe. They weren't looking at him like, who's this fucking goof? They're all looking at him in awe because he had embraced the power. He understood the power that he now controls. Then he gave, even with that, gave Skeletor the opportunity, then let loose. So there is a distinct He-Man and Adam beginning to develop, but then at the end, when it goes back, like I've said this in my review, you know, some of the jokes don't land, and it can get a bit goofy. But I got to say, I raucously laughed at the end with all the and the way that they did the sort of animations from the cartoon. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that was them being cynical. I thought that was them paying homage to the cartoon. And so when Adam runs off to save the village, and they go, does he really think we don't know who Adam and He-Man is? You know, and then the next shot is He-Man on fucking not Cringer, on Battle Cat.
Yeah.
And it looked fucking bad and it looked great. So I think they were trying to pay. I don't think there was cynicism in this. Maybe we're too cynical. I don't know. We have been burnt fucking a gazillion times by a gazillion franchises. And as much as, we can doom pill all across the board, I do think that they tried to do this with the good intentions. Now, not everything landed. Yeah, we got some goof. Yeah, I wish they hadn't. The He-Man bit, I agree with you on the He-Man bit. You know, when he said, I'm He-Man, I wish that was, because I'm a he and I'm a man, Yeah. And it's just, I wish they'd done that a bit better. But all in all, I think they were trying. I think it was the marketing really that pissed more people off than the film.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. I want to say, like, I feel like the movie does have failings and it doesn't take itself seriously in moments that I feel like it should take itself seriously. But I agree. I don't think that they were, at least they didn't feel to me that they were malicious. They didn't feel like they came across like they were actively trying to say, you as a fan are. So like at the end with the He-Man, when she made fun of it, she was like, oh, He-Man, really? And then kind of like, he was like, oh yeah. But then in the end, you see their faces in context of the show, of the movie, they respect him. They all like, oh, do you really think we don't know that? Let him do his thing. Let him do his thing. Because
that's the problem. So so we're making the jokes, and then no, we respect him, but then we're going to keep making jokes. It's
the MCU.
It's as if it's a wink nod at the camera for this is silly, isn't it? Isn't it He-Man? Isn't it silly? If that's what it feels like. It's as if they don't want to just let it be sincere for a couple minutes. Let Skeletor is supposed to be a little bit more of like the irreverent kind of like funny guy with how he like treats his goons. And he did that. And they do that exceptionally well. And I think Jared Leto did a great job.
Best part,
I actually, the design, the world is awesome. The costumes are awesome. The CGI, a lot of people didn't like. I thought it was awesome. I loved it. The fight choreography kicks ass. I enjoyed that a lot. There is an excellent He-Man movie in there if it was recut. If some like YouTube person recut this, you've got a great He-Man on your hands.
So my biggest issue with the movie was actually the directing. I thought it was really sophomoric. I thought the action was kind of bland. I don't think they hit beats right. They wasted Princes of the Universe with Queen. You have a fucking riff in that song that's in the Highlander movie that goes down. And they fucking skipped all that. You could have been kicking ass the whole time. They showed the girl. I don't know who her name is. Okay. There's Fisto and long neck guy. And then there was girl.
Dion.
Yeah. Dion was kicking ass and all the other guys weren't. That kind of annoyed me. But yeah, the action like just fell flat.
They were kicking ass.
Not as much as she was. No, she got a big prominent scene. She got a big prominent scene around those guys where she was just like,
he put his fist right through a dude.
Like a second, but they spent more time on her.
Yeah, Mechaneck was great. I loved Mechaneck.
And I wish they would have spent more time on him, honestly. But Jared Leto's Skeletor, like channeling Tim Curry's darkness from Legend, was fucking
dude, totally. Cool. Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because the first time when we first heard his voice in that trailer, I was like, I don't know. I thought he was good. I liked him in it.
But yeah, that was. I just thought the
great.
action. I thought it was shot a little sloppily, for me anyway. And I don't know. I'm a 6 out of 10 on the movie. I did laugh at a lot of shit. I did at the fisting jokes of people. I thought they were funny. Maybe because I'm immature.
Yeah, I'm in like a 5 out of 6. Like I can't, like 5 or 6. I can't take it. I can't take it very seriously, and I also just don't care too much about the property, you know. So it's
that dude, if this was like Lord of the Rings, I'd be fucking pissed.
I didn't watch the show. I didn't. That's exactly. It's like this isn't Lord of the Rings, so I don't take it at that seriousness. My connection to He-Man wasn't the show. I didn't watch the show religiously because it was way before my time.
Youngster.
I got connected to it because of the toys. So I played with the toys. So this movie felt like a toy. Like I was playing, like they had a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old boy on set and said, like, is this cool? Yes. Okay, let's do that.
Now, did you play with the originals, the ones that came out in the 2000s?
Originals, because I had the originals. So like
when he's cool.
When it was like, oh, he's got a big long neck. Oh, yeah, that's what the toy was like. I don't know what their names were. I don't know what they did. My only connection was what they did in my head when I was playing. You know. So also,
like, when you hear the word woke attributed to this, I mean, that's kind of a blanket term. What you're talking about is intersectional feminism. Like this
is like a load of feminists made a movie. Like it is like from the start. Like what the movie I would have preferred would have been to see the essentially they said they wanted the Barbie for men. That was the marketing, and they could have done it by in the real world being like showing the modern world, the office blocks, just destroying masculinity, not really giving them reason to be. And then he discovers the new world and actually discovers that and becomes the masculine. Instead, it was more the fact that I've learned a load of skills in the real world and actually HR and if I do empathy and all this other stuff, muscles aren't the key. It actually says that to him, that all the other people before you, the power had to be in the sword because they were just muscles. But you've now embraced the modern man. You now have emotions and everything else. There's all the stuff. His dad was deemed to be the horrible person. His dad, he was only recovered at the end when he explained his reasoning, but through the entire movie, he even tells his dad, you crushed all my hopes and dreams. You crushed everything for me. You made me think this way. Only because he said his intentions, but the effect they were saying the effect on the child was bad.
But you're taking things in isolation way too much in the broader context, right?
I'm taking it as far as the creator said. I think there's a problem with this, that you can absolutely watch Barbie and take a 100% based interpretation, because in that they are so honest. They do. Ken came back, resurrected everyone was happy there, and then all the women came, strapped him in a van, and through feminism subverted them.
The whole
I think the same in this. You can do two reasons.
It was because of Barbie that had a lot to do with this movie. They wanted to make the male Barbie. That's what their intention was.
You can't make a male Barbie because males aren't into Barbies. That's the thing.
That's why you did it with He-Man, right?
What you just said, Disprue, right?
I'm not saying it worked. I'm just saying that's what their intention was.
By saying that you can look at Barbie and take away this base thing, well, you can take that away, but that's not what the creators intended. So you're saying despite what the creators intended for you to take away from this movie, you can take away something else. But you're saying that your entire argument about this movie is that the creators intended to deconstruct masculinity, and you have other people on the panel who are telling you that's not what they took away from it, right? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think that's exactly right for both of them. I think that some people here are taking away the based interpretation of a message that was never intended by the creators.
I agree with this
statement. Let's look at the statement that muscles aren't needed, right? You're saying that's a woke message, is more feminized empathy.
No, it's in combination with. So they saw muscles. If you look at that
in small isolation, you might say muscle isn't needed is a woke kind of feminized interpretation, but the movie contradicts that at the end when muscles is absolutely essential to win. And
I'm not. You're putting words in my mouth that I never said. It's not that muscles aren't necessary, but it's the essentially evolution of masculinity over time. So they actually bring up Duncan, where he is traditional masculinity. He is the bulk, he is just pure muscle. But they think that the new modern man actually involves some sort of feminist ideals, which then also combine muscle and your use as that, along with empathy and feelings and emotions and everything else. So he was essentially the more evolved version of man.
No, that's not an evolved feminized form of masculinity. That's the proper virtuous chivalric form of masculinity that is just for ages. And don't let feminists try and co-opt that and say, we've fixed masculinity now because they're adding empathy to it. That's bullcrap, all right? This is a more traditional masculine ideal where restraint and control has always been part Yeah, right?
Because it's not restraint. It is you give violence to those who deserve it. So that is the concept of justice. That bad things happening to bad people is deserved, and that's a good thing. And so if a guy has invaded your territory, wiped out all of your people, killed your parents, at no point should you go, actually, I think you should just surrender now. I don't want to actually hurt you. It's like, no, he's already past that point.
No, that's nonsense. If you can resolve the conflict without another battle where lives are getting lost, that's obviously going to be the choice that you would go with. And that's what he was trying to do. Let's not fight. Let's try and resolve it peacefully.
But it was like, you can go down a different path as well. It wasn't just trying to say, let's stop. It was trying to say, you have the choice to be different. You have the choice here. And
he's like, no, I'm evil.
No,
dude.
exactly. And
I did like the Skeletor bit. I like
that. I am the villain.
But I do agree with Disbrew in as much as I think that they have talked people out of this movie. I think the marketing has been appalling.
100%.
You know, Tila, the director, they have been talking about these points. He's not wrong. They've been telling you what they perceive as the film. I've seen the film. I don't perceive it in that manner. But the same with, that's exactly the same as Barbie. Barbie's this huge feminist, blah, blah, blah. I went to Barbie. It's the most based fucking film I've seen in years.
It's too honest.
Intentionally or not.
Hero of that film. It's not even up for question. It even ends with Barbie going into that fucking place and essentially saying, I'm over. I'm done as a woman. I've now embraced feminism. My life is fucking done.
As if you think about it, House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones are proof that women should not sit on the Iron Throne. It's actually a pretty base message if you think about it.
Never mind be on the fucking throne.
Or cripples.
Or cripples.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I
we'll talk about that later.
I think the marketing has been horrific. They virtue signaled to whatever, their side or whatever you want to say. And a lot of people have been turned off by that. And that's been seen in the box office because the preview night was horrific. Yeah, absolutely horrific.
But there are some people like oh, go on. Sorry.
It's also just I just don't think there's a lot of I don't think there's a lot of juice left to squeeze in the He-Man franchise, especially when the way it is marketed is clearly for younger people. And the only people that give a fuck about He-Man are 50-year-old dudes.
That's the problem with this, and that's probably why it's failing. If this movie should have been made 15 years ago, right? When Gen X was a little younger. This is a Gen X franchise for the most part,
very much so.
Right?
Well, and
Gen X, hang on, not done. Gen X franchises are they've had their time. They just really have. We're seeing them fall by the wayside, and Hollywood's going to move on after they've destroyed them all. So thanks, Hollywood.
But they didn't have to, man.
No,
they didn't have to go.
None of it. They had to go this route. So what was up against He-Man was all the shitty movies that came up before, right? And there's a lot of people enjoying this movie, and good for them. That's great.
Yeah.
If you like the movie. But the Gen X franchise, this thing just came too late, way too late. Which is bad.
Well, also
a movie that I could turn on a random streaming platform while I'm doing chores and shit. That's how I feel about the movie. You know what I mean?
Well,
if you have time, watch it. I don't say run out and go watch it right now. It's not the best movie I've ever seen. But if it's a streaming movie, go watch it. Give it
on 4K. No problem.
There you go. There's worse out there for sure.
Yeah. And in all fairness, it's going to be on VOD.
And we're all disagree with Tom. We're all disagree with Tom. Hang on. We're all disagree with Tom. Is this is the wokest thing you've seen in years?
No.
Peacemaker season 2 is more woke than this movie.
Oh, insanely so. I don't think this film is woke. Apart from the race swaps, I think it's actually really based, honestly. Now, in terms of the health of the franchise, this feels like this film is its last chance. And if it bombs, I'm not seeing
it's going to bomb.
I'm really interested in what thing might do something, right? Is if my two youngest boys not only love it, after I'm showing them the movie, I want to see if they actually are going to get into He-Man and want to know more. And then I want to see if they'll want to watch He-Man and the Secret of the Sword, the animation. And if they are now hooked on He-Man, this film might be
Shad. How do you feel about this movie, Shad? It's just like Dungeons and Dragons, and I know some people just loved it. You loved it, and I was like, I thought it was okay.
I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it.
But how do you feel about the fisting
that's the
jokes
problem
for your kids, Shad?
They'll just go right over their head. They won't understand it.
Yeah.
But I
what
think
about
that's
when
why
he said, "I love your sword dangling between your thick thighs"?
I think you
again over your head.
Chad,
I was thinking that was a little gay.
Man. I will say the same thing. Like, Chad, I took my kids. What were they doing after that? My two youngest kids, 8 and 4. I have the power. I have the power. They were like, I have the power. You're a girl. I'm a boy. I have the power.
Well,
and I was like, well, there's
not
a
to
girl
equate Mrs. Neurotic to a kid, but
like, they were
she loved it. Mrs. Neurotic loved it. Neurotic Jr. loved it, and they don't have any like. Oh my God, Mrs. Neurotic might know more about He-Man than I do, to be honest with you. But
every
muscle. I hope
muscle
this has legs. I hope that like
muscly legs.
But Chad, this isn't going to get the legs that you want because, like, a few weeks ago, when we last talked about this, I said I hope that this movie is a 10 out of 10 because if it is a 10 out of 10, it's going to be so easy for us to say like. Go see it. Go see it. Go see it. There's going to be way positive word of mouth. The problem is it's not. It's just not the best movie that it needed to be to earn the legs or to earn like okay, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. It was you had COVID times. There's a lot more different variables then. Now it's word of mouth is king in movie marketing right now, and this just doesn't have it. Where it's worth convincing.
I've seen a lot of people saying they liked it. Word of mouth actually seemed good,
which is great. Yeah. Which is great. And you know what? If people are enjoying it, I don't want to take that away from them. I for all of the faults that I have with it, what I loved is actually I love so much of this movie. Like it's still like a 7 to me, which is insane considering how much I despise about it because I know it could have been a great movie, but it's not going to have the legs like something like Obsession does, where it costs significantly less. So everything else is gravy profit now.
See,
we didn't ever bring up
170 million. You should never, in a month of Sunday, be giving 170 million to Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake.
Maybe 50 tops, absolutely tops, probably around 40 to 50. But the reason why word of mouth marketing is so strong right now is because companies don't know how to fucking market anymore.
No.
Because their marketing is turning people off from going to the cinemas. The Star Wars marketing is garbage. It's insincere. It's fake. Everybody can see through it. But all these companies think you are so fucking stupid that you're going to fall in line with any of this.
Yeah,
they talk about the He-Man, toxic masculinity, this, toxic masculinity, that, and thematically it's about power and usage of power and how power can be abused, manipulated, embraced, or all this kind of stuff. You can look into that. But like Disbrew said, they're saying one thing, we're seeing it. Some people might take that, some people might take something else from it because that's the way that certain things are operating. But in terms of marketing, companies have lost it because they've got all these fucking millennial See You Next Tuesdays coming through from these educational systems that are being taught anti-marketing. And it's the absolute antithesis of talking people into theaters and talking people into franchises and products.
And what they've talked people out of, they've talked men out of going to the theater, right? They thought they had an alternative audience that because men were not going to the movies as much. So they're like, we need to find more. We need to bring women in. And these marketing departments are run by women and gay men, and they have no idea how to market to a man. That's why toxic masculinity comes up, and yes, they talked a bunch of people out of the movie. I mean, if the creators are out there saying this shit, people are going to see it because they said it.
We're at the precipice of a bunch of things. And if you're talking about marketing, just what the two of you have just mentioned is exactly the reason why the studios have no idea how to use YouTube and the people on YouTube to their best advantage because they hate us. And the publishing business has now been overcome with women, adjudicators, and as you guys have talked about, the demasculization of everything. And I'm going to say, I'm going to do a video on this, and this is key, is that the three movies that people are talking about that's going to change Hollywood, Markiplier's video, the Obsession, and Backrooms. I hate to say this, the revolution is all going to be run by men.
Yep.
because they like their cameras, they like their gear, they like the lighting, they understand gear porn, and these freaking women who are in charge of all the marketing and all of the studios don't understand what's going on. And my prediction is, as this wave of YouTubers are going to take over the theaters, it's all going to be men. I'm sorry, women. Fuck you.
Look, and he's right. Look at the publishing industry.
Yeah.
Look at the covers of all the books now. It's just title, author, and like a little picture in between.
That's right.
And it's just some modern bullshit.
Right. Yeah. And how many times I can cheat on my husband and how much it frees me.
Or true crime.
Yeah, well, my wife is
like how many times I can watch my fellow women get raped and murdered and really enjoy the book. You know, that's
my wife likes true crime, which is why I have a gun under my pillow.
Exactly.
You never know.
Smart move.
Dude, pack of matches next to your bed. I'd watch out for that too. All right.
But we like
you
it.
saw
Star
that
Trek.
movie.
Star Trek's another one. Look at our shit porn. You know, we love our shit porn, and now look at Star Trek.
Shit porn.
With a
I love some good shit porn.
There you go. There you go.
As
My
loves
work
the
here is
Shiza
done.
films.
My work is done.
Hey!
We weren't done about He-Man. There's so much.
I love shit porn. The constitutional class refit.
Harder. Okay.
Give me the sense.
Please enunciate the P more.
I said
Serenity.
All the panels,
Slave
thrusters.
One.
Yeah.
The ones that can send out sonic waves.
What?
I feel very uncomfortable under all those abs.
Do you though?
Popcorn bucket.
You sure about that?
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.